Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Jeanne Francine. As we continue to follow your breaking news headlines this morning, at least 5 deaths are being attributed to Hurricane Debby as the now tropical storm continues to slowly churn off to the northeast after making landfall along Florida's Big Bend region early Monday morning. Joining us live to further share the very latest on Debby is National Hurricane Center Director Michael Brennan. Michael, good morning to you. Thank you for taking out the time to join us here on Live Now from Fox.
Sure, great to be with you this morning.
So we appreciate you joining us right after Debby made landfall yesterday. A very serious situation. And I know one thing you and other experts are wanting to urge the public is even though this storm has now become a tropical storm, it still can be very deadly.
Yeah, the real hazards have now shifted to the rainfall. The center of Debby still here over eastern Georgia, moving slowly offshore today. But the big story is now this huge expanse of heavy rain, these heavy rain bands that are moving into portions of the southeast coast of the United States. That rainfall is going to add up over the next 3 or 4 days. In some places, 15, 20, 25 inches of rain. We could be looking at life-threatening flash flooding, potentially catastrophic impacts, especially across coastal portions of South Carolina, extending up into southern and even central North Carolina as we go through the next 2 to 3 days. So Debby is going to slowly meander here. You can see our track forecast has the center moving offshore later today. And then it just basically sits here off the South Carolina coast all the way through today, tonight, Wednesday night into Thursday before we start to see a little bit more of a slow northward motion, but the system's still going to be in the vicinity of South Carolina and Georgia all the way into early Friday before it eventually starts to move more steadily to the north, and then that's just going to expand that heavy rainfall threat up into the mid-Atlantic states as we get later into the week and into this weekend.
Michael, we know the storm is shifting, as you just mentioned, but right here in the Sunshine State, I mean, just a few moments ago in the Orlando area, there was a tornado warning, and then we're seeing heavy rains this morning in the Tampa area. Is this still being attributed to Debby? Are we going to continue to see this in the coming hours and even days?
Well, we're still seeing some of these trailing rain bands across Florida this morning, and that's going to continue. The circulation of Debby is very, very large, and because the system is going to continue to sit off the South Carolina coast and really not move, some of these trailing rain bands may hang out across portions of Florida and off the southeast U.S. coast, but the real heavy rain and the real big impacts are going to be near and north of the center over the next several days.
Michael, you mentioned Georgia and the Carolinas, and we know the mayor of Savannah actually had issued a warning and was worried that this storm could put Savannah underwater. Is that a stretch, or could that potentially happen?
Well, there's certainly the potential for very, very impactful flooding everywhere you see in this purple area. So, for example, if we zoom in today, this is the risk of flash flooding in this purple area here that extends from just north of Jacksonville up through Savannah, Charleston, Myrtle Beach into southern North Carolina. That is that's the level 4 out of 4 risk for flash flooding. So that's the potential for life-threatening flooding, widespread flooding in areas that don't usually flood. And what we're seeing here along the coast, in addition to the rainfall, is the storm surge. That wind field of Debby is piling water from the Atlantic Ocean onto the coastline and preventing the rainfall from draining off as it normally would into the ocean. So it's just going to cause that water to rise. So areas that we'd be most concerned about are anywhere that gets under one of these rain bands has the potential to pick up several inches of rain for several hours in a row. That's where that flooding threat's going to be the greatest today. We do have flash flooding warnings in effect already for Savannah up through Charleston, and those are likely to continue through the day today.
Michael Brennan, always a pleasure when we get to have you here on Live Now from Fox. Thank you so much for taking out the time to join us. Before we let you go, is there anything we need to be keeping a close eye on in the coming days?
Well, you know, beyond what we're seeing with Debby right now, we can take a quick look at our outlook. We are watching a tropical wave that's south of the and moving into the southeastern Caribbean Sea. It does have a low chance of development, a 30% chance as it moves across the Caribbean and into the southern Gulf of Mexico over the next week. So that's our next system we're going to keep an eye on. But we are going into the peak of hurricane season. Most of the activity is going to happen here in these next 2.5 or 3 months as we go through August, September to October. So we're certainly not done with the season by any stretch.
Wow, to think we aren't even in peak season yet. My goodness, makes your job a little bit harder. Michael Brennan, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and, of course, stay safe.
Thanks.